2023, I made a promise to the entire internet. I am going to lose 100 pounds with the carnivore diet. Did I succeed? I did not. I failed. That ship sunk. It sunk hard. But not for a lack of trying. Like, I actually did lose weight on the carnivore diet. I lost 30 pounds, which amazing. I lessened my depression, my skin cleared up, my brain fog lifted. I had more energy, I was more vibrant. Like all the good things that, people tout about the carnivore diet, I actually experienced. But I had one slight pressing concern that did not go away. That was actually part of a larger issue that would be ongoing for 2 years. My gut. My gut and carnivore did not agree. I have had chronic stomach issues ever since I was a little kid. It wasn't as noticeable as a child, but I have always dealt with chronic constipation and explosive diarrhea. TMI, I am aware, but this is part of the reason of everything that is going on. Like, those were two issues that I chronically dealt with. There was no middle ground. It was either it hurts to the point that it's solid as a rock, or your hydrant out the butthole. There was no middle ground, like I said. Like, it was just those two options, and it was nonstop all of the time. And so when I started the carnivore diet, it was with the intent of like losing the weight and getting the mental clarity and like getting clearer skin and dealing with a possible autoimmune disorder, just like boosting my mental health and all of these other wonderful things that, the carnivore diet does address for a lot of people. And I was also hoping that it might actually address the gut issue that I have been dealing with for years. It did not. Oh, but I tried. I tried so hard. But nothing I did worked. And I was told repeatedly through like other like little groups of people who are doing carnivores, like, just give it some time, give it a couple of months. Like, eventually your body will adapt, your gut will settle down, and everything will just like clear out. 6 months later, I was still clinging to the toilet crying. And sometimes it was even worse because I had actually upped my fat, which I was told was necessary because without like carbs in my diet, I needed a lot more fat for energy. And so I was doing that. Like, I had started with like kind of like a moderate fat, and then I slowly started upping it to get more energy, which I did get some energy, but not as much as I would have liked. Which brings me to the reasons why I quit the carnivore diet. In 2024, I was working as a housekeeper in a nursing home. And this is after I had moved out of my own apartment into my older sister's house, and then moved out of my older sister's house into my younger sister's house. And like, there's like a whole like timeline behind all of that, which essentially is lost job, moved into older sister. A lot of different things were going on mental health wise. And then younger sister was having mental health issues, so I moved in with her to help her. And so that ended up in 2024. I was working at the nursing home, and I was having chronic issues with my stomach to the point that I was going to the bathroom, number 2, 5 to 10 times during my shift. And so excessively and with so much like irritability and inflammation that I was passing blood. And so like I told my boss and everything that I was having this issue, and then I was also having a hard time walking. And then like the nurses in the actual nursing home told me that I need to go to the ER and have my legs checked for blood clots. End of 2024, I go in, they'd run the test, I have blood clots. And so suddenly I am not working because we don't know how long I'm going to be off. And then the doctors are running a whole plethora of tests on my stomach. And I'm in a situation where I cannot work because my bowels are out of control. And that leads me into 2025, where we find out that my gallbladder is failing and it needs to come out. Like, it was working at like 10 to 15% capacity. And I was 290 pounds. I was 300 pounds. Like, I was morbidly obese. Like, clinically morbidly obese. Like class 3 obesity. That is where I was at. That was the category I was put in. This is when my doctor is saying, like, hey, this is not okay. Like, you are putting your life at risk. And I'm just like, how do I lose weight? Like, I have tried the carnivore diet. I have tried, like, counting calories. I've done exercising. Like, I've done all this. Like, I've been to my gynecologist for the PCOS, and their entire thing is birth control and lose weight. But no one ever says how to lose the weight. And so I was trying to figure out all these different little, like, corners of, like, my health. And, I was quite a bit younger at the time. And, like, I didn't have the research I have now. I didn't realize that you could count calories wrong, which I was. But that was the main reason why I had to quit the carnivore diet was because of my gut, because of the bowels, and because I was in situations where I could not eat an all meat based diet. And then while I was on the actual operating table getting my gallbladder removed, the doctor had ran some blood tests to check for alpha-Gal syndrome, which came back as positive, which is the other reason why I quit carnivore. It's because the very food I was eating, I was allergic to. And we don't know exactly how long I got it. It could have been that I did get it back in 2023 when I was living out towards the country, and it could have been just like the starting symptoms haven't really kicked in fully. It could have been that I got it the next year when I was living with my older sister, who had 2 dogs that liked to go frolicking unchecked out in the fields and come back covered in ticks. Could have been then. We don't know. But those were the reasons why I had to personally quit the carnivore diet. If I could eat that way still, I would. Because I do miss it. I do miss eating burgers. I do miss eating venison and deer and, like, the back straps. Like, I miss my pot roasts. Like, I miss them all. But they will put me on a toilet and they will wreck my gut and make it feel like my stomach is trying to murder me. And it is not a comfortable feeling to be paddling up shit creek without a paddle. It's not a place that anyone wants to be. And that's where it was at. So 2025, when I finally, like, found out about my gallbladder, and when I was going through that process, I went to my doctor's like, hey, I am getting surgery to have my gallbladder removed. I am struggling to lose weight. I have food noise issues. I have a dysfunctional relationship with food where I just can't stop putting it into my pie hole. And I think about food all of the time, and I need something that can help me so I cannot deal with that while I do research and learn how to eat properly and how to actually, like, move and, like, lose weight and how to do it sustainably and safely. So she put me on trizepatide or Zepbound, which I have been taking for almost 9 months at this point. Throughout the entirety of 2025, I lost 80 freaking pounds. And I am so excited for myself because I have not been this low in years. And so my game plan coming out of this is to get to a point where I can figure out, like, a proper diet plan. Because for quite a while I've been drinking essentially protein shakes and almost nothing else. And then I started, like, adding in, like, solids again. I went through a phase that I go through with, like, my autism where I hyperfixate on certain foods and then I don't touch anything else except for that particular food. Like, I do it every few months. And for, like, 3, it was the protein shake. It was the only thing that I would actually put in my stomach. And I was 100% fine with that. But now I am migrating towards chicken again. And so, like, I am now in a different lane. I am trying to figure out ways that I can eat. And so I am looking towards Carnivore, but that is alpha-Gal friendly and no gallbladder friendly. And so I have to do lots of tweaking. I have to do more research and kind of figure that out. But we got to do what we have to do in order to feel our best. And I feel the best, personally, when I'm eating meat. I feel lethargic and fatigued when I do not have high protein. And it's been that way for years. And so that is the reason why I eat a meat-focused diet, regardless of whether or not I am on carnivore. So if seeing me lose another 60 pounds might be something you're interested in, or just like learning about how I plan to like research like a ketovore diet that is more focused on being alpha gal friendly and also no gallbladder friendly, stick around because I plan to talk about that in the future, along with one of my primary sources being eggs that I get from my own backyard because this girl has chickens and they are amazing. So until next time, stay warm, stay safe, and I'll see you all later. Bye.